Hello and welcome back to my workbench. It is time once again to try to fix something. And today on the workbench we're going to be taking a look at another PS5 that is in need of some assistance. I know this one's going to have several issues. It's going to have some missing parts. I know that. I knew that when I bought it. This particular eBay seller is one that I don't usually buy from because I know he works on consoles. He tries to fix consoles. And if he doesn't fix them, he sells whatever is left. But this one caught my eye because I'll put up the description so you can read it yourself. But at one point it had a white light. It booted up to a white light. I know the fan connector has been ripped off and supposedly repaired. But I think he replaced the HDMI port, no video still. But it was booting up at that point. And he changed out the encoder IC and then it would no longer turn on. It would just boot. So that sounds like an encoder IC that was not installed properly. Is what that sounds like. But we'll get in there and see, because I don't think there is no encoder right now. According to the description, there is no encoder. It's missing some diodes. It's missing some of the output filters. Ribbon cable to the front USB. There's going to be some pieces and parts missing, but it's all things I can pull from a donor. So hopefully I have enough parts on hand to get this thing back working again. So let's get some covers off of it and see if we can do that. Well, I've gone straight to removing the circuit board. I have it out on the bench. We're going to take a look under the microscope. We're going to start around the HDMI encoder IC area, because we know we're missing an encoder. And sure enough, it is not there. And we know we are missing these HDMI output filters here, which I think I have some of those. I bought some time ago. I've never had to use them. But I hope these are the right size. If not, I have some more of them. One of these I hope is the right size. They're both look pretty tiny. If not, I can pull from a donor if I need be. But we're missing, I don't see anything else on this side of the board. There's been some work. You can see this IC looks like it's been changed out. That looks to be original. I'm looking for missing resistors. And we can also look at that HDMI port. Let me turn the board around. We know this was changed. So, yeah, a little melted plastic prints and pins there. That shouldn't bother anything. That should work. Let's go back. Let's go look at the back side of this board in the HDMI area. We are missing a diode right in there, obviously. Which I'm trying to remember what kind of, if that may be it may be a standard 5.6 volt Zener. I'll have to check. But I should have some. So, yeah, not very good flow through on those legs, is it? I can get it in focus. That's better. So we'll look at that if we need to, if we can get some video out of this thing. But as far as on the back side of the board in the HDMI area, I don't see anything missing. Some resistors, diodes, capacitors sprinkled around. I don't see anything missing. So we'll take a look. The fan connector was replaced. We can get a look at that. There's our fan connector. It looks like he used some solder wick for the mounting, and yeah, probably not the prettiest job, but it's probably anchored pretty well. Okay, let's start then. We know we need an HDMI encoder before we can go anywhere else. I do have some here. I don't think I have any new ones. They're all, you know, as I like to say, one owner, low mileage HDMI encoders. So let's get one installed and some filters. Alright, well, our HDMI encoder has been changed out. I've installed those HDMI filters. I installed a Zener diode on the other side of the board that was missing. So I'd like to do a quick diode mode check looking into this port. Just see if the readings look, you know, normal, somewhat. So positive probe on ground. Let's go to pin 1. That looks good. 2 is ground. 3 is good. 4 is good. 5 should be ground. 6 is good. 7 is good. 8 should be ground. 9 looks good. 10, 8.8, 11, ground. 12, all looks good. 13 looks good. 14 is no connection. 15, 16, 17 is ground. 18, 19. All right, that looks normal. That looked totally normal. So we're ready to try this thing and see if it does something. If it tries to turn on, if it just beeps, you know, whatever. So let me slip it back into the chassis and let's just see what it does. Well, I've slipped the board back into a chassis, or its chassis. Let's see if she'll at least try to turn on now. Yeah. Turn on, fan spin, give us some video. There we go, we have video. So I don't know what he did. I'm guessing the guy who worked on it didn't put the HDMI encoder on properly. Because of course, without that encoder, it will just beep at you. So I've got to, that's looking promising. Got good video. I need to round up, I know we're missing some screws. We're missing this ribbon cable, which I think I have some of those. Maybe a few other small parts, but otherwise I think we have a complete unit here. So let me scavenge those up. The fan is spinning. I mean, the fan repair is not beautiful, but it's working fine. So I may just leave that alone. Yeah, I really need to add some solder to those legs on that board, though. On the HDMI mounting legs, I need to add a little solder to that maybe. But otherwise, we may have a working console. Let me scrounge up some parts, and we'll put it all back together maybe and see if we have a working console or not. Well, this PS5 has been reassembled and cleaned up. Looking pretty good. Seems to be working good. I'm installing a game off a Blu-ray drive. No problems whatsoever. Wi-Fi seems to work, so I think she's going to be all right. It just needed a good HDMI encoder chip, apparently. That's all I can think of that was lacking. That and a few other parts that were stolen off of it, I have a feeling. But anyway, that's all it took to get it back and running, just a few parts. Well, I hope you liked that one. Thought it was somewhat interesting, educational, entertaining, any of the above. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in that very next repair. Bye for now.